What up, motherfucks? It's your boy, the hater, up in this bitch. Today is going to be a 2-video day, so we're going to get this video nice and early, motherfucks. This first video, well, both videos are going to revolve around the theme of being goofs, right? Goofiness. Goofiness is a problem that plagues not only wrestling, but plagues society in general. Now, everybody likes a little bit of goofiness. A little bit of goofiness is good, right? So, many memorable moments in, let's say, wrestling can be tethered to a goof, right? Crash Holly was very memorable. You know what I mean? Gilbert was obviously very memorable, right? These are goofy characters, and there's nothing wrong with goof and goofy characters, right? The problem, of course, becomes when being goofy becomes not only the norm, but becomes encouraged, right? Now, the reason why this is problematic, in my opinion, is because wrestling, specifically, has and always will have the same target demographic, you know? The demo, as they say in AEW. The target demographic is young men, right? Men from their 20s, maybe up to their early 40s, right? These are the target consumer for the advertisers of these products, right? That's what the demo means, essentially. But the problem is this. The target demographic is not being catered to. The target demographic, no matter who they are, right? Men from that age will always, except for a bunch of weirdos, but the majority of men from that age, in that age group, will of course be more attracted to seeing Stone Cold versus The Rock than they will be attracted by a match featuring two jobbers, right? They will not tune in to watch the two jobbers. The premise is unattractive. They don't want to see it. It doesn't bring them in, motherfucks, right? So this can be seen, of course, by the fact that the people that I just mentioned, like Stone Cold, for example, is obviously a legend, right? It can also be measured by viewership, right? And the amount of viewers that WWE was pulling during the Attitude Era. Now, there's other factors involved in that as well, of course, but there's factors that go both ways, you know? So it's indisputable, basically, that undisputable, is it indisputable or undisputable, motherfucks? So it can't be disputed that the Attitude Era was more successful than every other era, and certainly more successful than present day wrestling. Now, why is that, right? That is because the Attitude Era really captures the interests of this target demographic, right? Wrestling's target demographic can change over time, but it can never fully change. Do you see what I'm saying, motherfucks? It can change within the demographic itself. But this form of media is created for these people. It's the same thing as something like My Little Pony, right? And those bronies, right? The show is created for little girls. Yes, a little bit here and there. The demographic can change to bronies, right? But the facts are what the facts are. The show is still for little girls, and it's always going to appeal to little girls more. Once the brony fad dies down, little girls will still be the audience, right? When they bring back My Little Pony, maybe in a few years as a new, reboot or whatever, the target will always be little girls. No one's going to say, let's market this to the bronies, right? Same thing with wrestling, you know what I mean? Take this example. Let's say that you're a record executive in South Korea, right? You're probably thinking, where the fuck is the hater going with this? So I'll tell you, motherfucks, right? And let's say you sign BTS, which is like the #1 boy band in the world now, right? BTS does really well, right? And they have a very specific market. I don't mean like the Asian market. I mean like the market, like the target market. The target demographic for BTS is obviously teenage to pre-teenage girls, right? Now imagine if the same record executive decided to try to duplicate the success of BTS, but instead of hiring whatever it is, 6 or 7 young, handsome guys that can dance, he hires 6 or 7 fat, balding men in their 50s to do the same shit, right? To do BTS style music. Obviously, we can all say that this band wouldn't do as well. Why wouldn't it do as well? I'll tell you why, motherfucks. Because the target demographic, 13 and 14-year-old girls, are not going to want to see 50-year-old fat, balding men. You see what I'm getting at here, right? No matter how much you try to force it down their throat, they're not going to want to see that. It's the same thing with wrestling, right? The majority of wrestling fans are WWE fans only when WWE is really good, right? That's those 10 million people that were being pulled in by Raw and Nitro every week, 5 million each, let's say, right? What would happen is this. And this is why the Monday Night Wars will not be replicated again by the Wednesday Night Wars, because it's different people. The people that were watching Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Nitro were people that don't particularly give a shit about wrestling, right? They just want to see entertaining, wild shit, right? And their analysis goes as follows. Oh, WWE bought WCW? Okay, we'll watch WWE for a while, right? Afterwards, their analysis becomes, oh, WWE isn't that good anymore. I'm done watching wrestling for the rest of my life, or until it gets good, right? These aren't people that are going to be brought back by TNA or AEW. These are people that don't give a fuck. On the other hand, though, the people that do eventually become fans of New Japan, all this other shit, are people that really, really, really like WWE. Then they eventually think to themselves, I can't get enough of WWE, so I'm going to watch TNA. Can't get enough of TNA, I'm going to watch New Japan, right? And eventually, as obviously the number of fans goes lower and lower, right? Diminishing returns on the fans, right? That's why New Japan has fewer fans than WWE. So eventually, what happens is those fans that cannot get enough of New Japan go and watch things like DDT Wrestling, Dream Team Wrestling, whatever the fuck it is, right? And they see Kenny Omega wrestling a blow-up doll. Now, the vast majority of the people that are left in this group probably think to themselves, no, I've gone too far, back to New Japan, that's my limit, right? But certain people are going to be intrigued by the blow-up doll. Then they're going to Google the blow-up doll, and they're going to find the career of the blow-up doll and realize that before Kenny Omega, the same blow-up doll wrestled Kota Ibushi, let's say, right? And then Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi both lost to the blow-up doll in a handicap match or some horse shit like that, right? And some people are going to be intrigued by this. Some of these people, let's name one, for example, Orange Cassidy. Some of these people are going to then decide they're going to become wrestlers, right? And they're going to realize very quickly that in order to be a successful wrestler in today's wrestling world, you don't need to be Stone Cold. Orange Cassidy knows he's not Stone Cold and he never will be Stone Cold. But he understands that he can be the blow-up doll. You see where I'm getting at here, motherfucks? He understands that through being a goof, he can get a job and have a career. This has almost nothing to do with wrestling. Yet this man is probably making decent money doing it, right? Now, some of you may be thinking, right? Well, Orange Cassidy isn't that bad in the ring, right? And I would agree. Orange Cassidy is not any worse in the ring than, let's say, Kip Sabian, right? But the facts are what the facts are. Orange Cassidy did not get over because of his wrestling ability, which is not even that impressive. He got over exclusively because he's a goof, right? His goofiness put him over. So think about what that means, motherfucks. That means that in wrestling, you can get over without wrestling. See what I'm getting at? But while also being a wrestler, because some people do get over, without wrestling, like managers and shit like that. But you can get over as a wrestler in this day and age without wrestling and doing like fake kicks, like clearly shitty kicks. Now, that's fine. Once in a while, like I said, with Crash Holly, even Orange Cassidy could be tolerated under the right circumstances. The problem is that everyone is a goof, right? The amount of goofery that's going on is too large to maintain, right? There's entire promotions like Chikara, which are based entirely on goofy shit. Nowadays, cinematic wrestling, which is one of the epitomes of goofy shit, is a mainstay in all companies. You know what I mean? TNA did it first, WWE did it, AEW did it, everyone does that now, So goofy shit is becoming more and more mainstream, and the viewership keeps going down and down and down. Because at the end of the day, motherfucks, the people that cater to goofy shit are catering to the same people that watch the blow-up doll match and are entertained. That is the same demographic. Now, of course, once in a while, people that don't like the blow-up doll match will like, let's say, the Boneyard match. It's not a perfect overlap of 100%. But the general idea stands. I personally cannot understand how someone can like Stone Cold and also like the Boneyard match. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like these are two things that completely appeal to different types of people. It's like someone that likes, I don't know, anime, right? And then also likes photorealism. Now, of course, these people exist, right? But to me, it seems like there is some sort of mutual exclusivity between these two interests. It's like someone that, I don't know, likes ropes, climbing ropes, right? But also likes something where it's the opposite of climbing ropes. I can't even complete the analogy. That's how silly that was, right? So, to me, when WWE and AEW and TNA and other companies start pandering to the people that like the blow-up doll match, right, the interests shift in all categories, right? The people that are watching this turn it off. The people that want to be wrestlers in the future start emulating people like Orange Cassidy. Like there's probably thousands of kids out there right now who are emulating Orange Cassidy. You know what I mean? So yeah, the company goes in the wrong direction, getting fewer views and fewer buy rates and probably less in merchandise, right? And being overall less profitable. The wrestling ethic, right, also gets worse because wrestlers now want to be Orange Cassidy. And as a result, the fans are like, okay, this is like that weird shit. I don't want to watch this, you know? I really don't understand why people are so okay with this goofy shit. And furthermore, I really don't understand why there isn't a company that just emulates what WWE did. I don't get it. I really don't. AEW had that opportunity, but they decided to become literally WWE. Or more like TNA 2.0. Let's be real, right? But the facts are what the facts are, cucks. Goofy shit will only get you so far. Goofy shit will alienate a large part of your audience. I consider myself to be a wrestling diehard. I was thinking this morning about how the WWE Network, which I got the first day it came out, and I'm going to have until the last day, right? How I'm pretty sure, I mean, of course I've missed a pay-per-view here and there when I was in school and things like that, right? Or maybe when I was on a trip. But the facts are what the facts are. I've almost always watched every pay-per-view that has been on WWE Network since its inception. I haven't missed one. Since they became free, essentially, after you pay your $9.99, I haven't missed one, right? And for the first time in my life, because of last year's WrestleMania and Bray Wyatt or The Fiend's match with John Cena, I will refuse to watch Bray Wyatt versus Orton, which will almost certainly be a cinematic match, or at least partially like that. I will refuse to watch it. I'm going to skip it completely, you know? And if it's the main event, I'm going to go to bed early. That's what I'm going to do. You understand me? So, even someone like me who's been watching wrestling like for a fucking long time and doesn't miss much of it, even someone like me eventually is going to be like, no, this shit ain't for me. One man throwing another man in a lake is not for me, motherfucks. It's too goofy. It's fucking stupid. It insults my intelligence. You see what I'm saying? Now, this same problem that's happening with me happened with literally millions of people way before, when things started getting goofy in different ways. Goofy like John Cena being champion forever. Goofy like fucking everything else that happened during that era that didn't make any sense. You understand what I'm saying? Goofy like in the future, people like Daniel Bryan being considered like great wrestlers and worthy of main eventing WrestleMania. This is ridiculous. You understand? This is silly, right? These fans have been replaced with a much more vocal, yet much, much smaller fan base of men who like sports. It's mostly men, but also who are neckbeards, right? And they want to live out that neckbeard fantasy. It's all about that neckbeard fantasy for these people. So, the remedy, motherfucks, is to stop doing this goofy shit. I don't think it's even that challenging, you know? Vince McMahon, he's made billions. I know he wants the company to continue, but the facts are what the facts are. I don't see why he doesn't just do it. You know, just do it. Or someone else start a company that is like edgy and cool, you know? I don't know why they haven't, but it is what it is. So yeah, motherfucks, that's video 1 on goofs in this bitch. The second video might surprise you. It's gonna be a royal affair, if you will. I'm gonna talk about Prince Harry and that broad. All right, cucks. See you motherfuckers later today.